Good afternoon, Paul. It's great to be here with you.
Thanks. Same here.
So I'm with Paul Young, the co-founder and CEO of Conservation Resources, which is, in my mind, one of the leading, if not the thought leader in regenerative agriculture and regenerative forestry. And Paul, we are really excited to have this conversation with you today. So Paul, not everyone is going to know who Conservation Resources is. I think you, as the co-founder and CEO, are probably best suited to tell us about it. So why don't you, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a brief overview of the firm, sort of where you started and what you guys do.
Sure. Yeah. So I started out my career in timber investing back in 95 with one of the biggest timber investment groups out there. And then I went on to another large insurance company that had a timber investment group. And, at that time, from a financial perspective, so you're investing in timber, right? And you're growing trees and you have more tons to sell through time as they get to different diameters. You have different product categories that are highly value, higher value, different value for the tons. And you discount that all back and you can figure out what you can pay to grow trees sustainably, growing them, cutting them down, selling to mills, regrowing them depending on the forest type. And so what we were finding back then, or what I was finding in the early 2000s, is that, let's say I found a property that was 10,000 acres and I could pay $10 million to do that, grow trees sustainably, earn a 6, 7% return. That's what the timber commodity cash flows would support for the risk you take with timberland. Well, that property, just based on land value and option value, is probably going to trade at 15, 16 million bucks an acre. And so you couldn't support that value and that return anymore with the timber commodity cash flow. So one or two things had to happen. One, you couldn't buy it, or you were buying it at a lower return. Actually, three things. Or you're buying it and you're having to figure out how to monetize non-timber value, which is a different risk profile, maybe fragmenting the property. And one day I got a call. I had given a few talks about that, kind of how timber funds were raw land development funds masquerading as timber funds. And I got a call from this guy one day who said, "Hey, look, Paul, I'm trying to start up a new fund. What I'm trying to figure out how to do is maybe we can partner with conservation groups cooperatively, have them come in and overlay their conservation blueprint. And then that'll allow us to focus the dollars on the timber while they're getting bang for their dollars on the environmental side." And immediately it hit me. I'm like, yeah, that will take that equity that I don't want to put into non-timber risk, and they'll buy that out through environmental values they're buying, which is land value. They want to protect lands and this and that. And that'll allow us to take our equity and get it closer to timber. And so we did that. We really kind of institutionalized that model of working cooperatively with conservation groups, having that in the strategy of partnering with them rather than a tactic after the fact. And through time, we were asked time and again by conservation groups, well, can you take this model to ag? And so we eventually did. But when we were looking at the ag, we were seeing that soils were a big issue. How can you improve soils that have been over kind of industrial practices for agriculture, have depleted the organic matter? You have to rely more and more on fertilizers. And we dug into the whole regenerative movement. And so, long story short, we got into the regenerative movement, no till, reducing input, human input to the soils. And I looked at that on the timber side too and said, wow, look, man, we're just doing the same thing on like a timber pine plantation. We're farming it. It's just over 25 years. But we go in, we clear cut trees, we rip in bed, which is basically tilling the soil. We pull up all the stumps, burn them or something like that, make rows. And tilling really does a number on soils. Then we herbicide it, so we kill everything so we can plant one thing, one pine species and focus the resources. And I thought to myself, well, maybe we can enter some of those regenerative practices there where we can reduce the inputs we need, improve those soils, focus on the soils rather than the trees, and the trees will take care of themselves. So we really got into that. We started looking at increasing biodiversity. And that fit perfectly with how we look at climate change. You know, a lot of groups look at climate change and say, oh, okay, how can I, and I don't mean this pejoratively, but okay, how do we make money from climate change? Oh, well, we can sell some carbon credits on a timber property and lock it up for a while and get some money there and, you know, sequester carbon and whatnot. And we didn't look at it that way. We looked at climate change as a risk. It's something that's going to impact our assets, which are solely relied on the climate to grow. We're buying land to grow stuff. And how can we mitigate the dangers to our assets, the risks to our assets? And growing healthier properties mitigates that climate risk. We believe as we do these practices on agriculture and on timberland, in the future, we'll be more resilient against fires. We'll be more resilient against rain events that just go on and on. We'll have more resiliency against major storm events and whatnot because we'll have healthier properties. So now we do regenerative on all of our lands, focusing on that soil health, that resiliency, and we believe that will add value. So we've got about 20 people in the firm now. We manage right now about 800 million in assets doing this, and as you and I have talked before, Rob, and we're having a blast doing it. It's like it's great.
Yeah.
It's like how I wake up and I'm like, how the hell did I get into this, right? But it's pretty cool. You're making money for your investors and trying to, you know, add return for them, increase it, maybe do better than
Mm-hmm.
kind of a generalist strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, you're also having the unintended consequence of improving the environment. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. I mean,
You certainly wouldn't get any argument there from me. I think it is pretty cool, and I think in particular the way you guys approach the duality of your mission is maybe not unique, but your commitment to it is unique. You know, financial returns, and at the same time, you know, the returns to the environment and the returns to the climate, if you will. I think it's perfect. You know, and it really is a real life articulation of what most impact investors would want to have.
yeah, it
So,
really is. It's just that you don't. I used to give a talk when we were early on in our group here at impact conferences or double bottom line or triple
yeah.
net, whatever they were called back then. And I used to say always, look, if you're not first focused on a financial return and earning that through your impact focus, your other bottom line focus, to improve that financial return, we'll never raise capital to be able to do funds like this. If it's
Yeah.
concessionary, people aren't going to invest. And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what they say. When
Mm-hmm.
people are investing money, whether it's public pension funds or endowments, they have the goals of earning a financial return for the missions of
Mm-hmm.
their group. Public pension fund is to pay
Mm-hmm.
the pensions of, you know, firefighters and teachers. They're not going to
That's
be
right.
like, yeah, Paul, you do some great stuff with our money, save the world, and don't worry about return. That's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to make sure that it makes a financial model that makes sense when you're doing
Mm-hmm.
your impact investments,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we focus on. We're great guys, right? But we do impact because it helps us create a better business model. And we've just figured out how to do it where we actually are valuing the environment
Mm-hmm.
and finding ways to value it.
That is clear. Um, what is also clear is that the second mission, in addition to creating financial returns for your investors, is something that you guys take seriously, and you go to great lengths to actually keep yourselves honest with your mission, right? The the people you employ in the field, the metrics that you've developed to keep yourselves on track, I think are really thought leading. And maybe you could just walk us through some of that as it pertains to forestry in particular, but we also probably want to get into ag as well.
Yeah, sure. People have forgotten, I think. I don't know if they've forgotten, but there's a G in ESG, right? And that's
Hmm.
governance. And governance includes a lot, but what it includes is you're selling a strategy to your investors that you're going to implement. And you have to keep a focus on that to which you sold them and told them, when you invest, this is what we will try to do. And so you can't go out and do that and then suddenly say, yeah, we told you we were going to try to do a financial return, but man, we just figured we could take this money and do something great on the environmental side. And that doesn't work. Just as we tell our investors, we're seeking ways to leverage your investment dollars to help with the environment. So we can't just go out and say, twirling the mustache, we're going to make a big pile of money if we buy this property and then develop it into a car lot or something. And so we always are evaluating every year, are we staying on mission? Are we maximizing investment returns through our strategy and maximizing where we can the environmental return? So it's very much consciously in our whole group here of always looking at that, looking at the G,
Hmm.
the governance of
Hmm.
the ESG.
Hmm.
We hire people who are focused on that. We have people who have come from the environmental world. We have people who have come from the financial world. And the one thing they all have in common is they're just good people who want to do a good job, provide for their families, all of that, and they fit into the culture, which I demand has to be just pretty fun. Like if you come here and you're a downer, you're out, If you're not, great. Let's go have
Right.
some fun and do what we do and see if we can do it well.
So we got to go there, Paul. So what exactly is fun if you're working at conservation resources?
I don't know, just like just not taking yourself serious. Um, Going out when you have a kids game and going out to the game, going
Yeah.
working with people you just like hanging around with. I think what's being fun is like, I mean, this is gonna sound like prepped and all, but is just being very open with your investors. Like, if something's going south, you tell them right away. Now, is that fun at the time? No, but it's kind of, if you build that reputation of just being completely open and everything, that just makes life easier. And when life's easier, it's easier to have fun, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the rat. It's just, I mean, I guess the biggest thing for me is just not to take yourself too seriously. You see a lot
Yeah.
of people you meet out there in any industry, and they're like, they give this aura that if I wasn't here, the financial system in the world is going to collapse. And it's not if I'm not here. Someone's going to replace
Right.
me. So while I'm here, have
Right.
some fun and really work hard for my investors and everything. And I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like it's not just an easy answer. It's just
But it is a cultural issue, right?
yeah.
It really is. And
Mhm.
I very much appreciate what you just said about being transparent and honest with your investors. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that your LPs will forgive you for making a mistake. They will not forgive you for not telling them you made a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, we had a property a few years ago. This is an example. We invested in a timber property, and we went out there and we missed some of the things on due diligence. And so this was a big property. So we sold it 3 years after we bought it. And I was at an investor meeting describing we sold it. And And of course, you could have collected fees for years and years. And he said, "What? Why'd you sell it?" And I was talking to the I said, "Because we missed on kind of some of the due diligence. We knew
Mm-hmm.
for us to get a return would not be within our power, but would just be the luck of a rising tide. And you should get your money back and be able to go invest that somewhere else." And we still got a positive return on it, but we recognized it wouldn't be through our brilliance of getting that value up. It would be, you might
Mm-hmm.
say through luck. And man, he just said, "That's fantastic." He goes, "No groups are," he goes, "We work with a lot of groups that just would not do that."
Mm-hmm.
And that just creates this enormous goodwill. One of the things we have that I'm really proud of is almost all of our investors have re-upped in at least one additional fund from the one. We
That's
have our
pretty good.
largest investor, which is in their fifth fund with us. So we have a really
Mm-hmm.
high degree of loyalty. And I think it's that. They're just like, we don't have to worry about these guys. Yeah, it's timber and ag, so we're probably not going to get the VC returns, but it's all good. We just like them, we trust them, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I think what you guys ought to think about doing is overlaying an AI strategy on top of your forestry fund, and then you'll get all kinds of VC money.
You're right. We should. You're exactly right. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I mean, just imagine AI forestry. It's out there.
Conservation, artificial intelligence, growing stuff. I'm
Yes.
sure it is.
Yeah.
We are doing some neat stuff on the value chain world where we have an allocation where we can do 10% of our investments, not just purely in the land, in the ag or the timber, but we can do kind of some value chain investments where, like, say, for instance, we might do a small mill, some investment. If we can show that it'll improve the value of the property as well as hit
Mm-hmm.
in an environmental or social goal. So maybe improve some
Mm-hmm.
employment in a rural area, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So we are kind of branching out and looking to do some
Mm-hmm.
pretty neat things. And we have great
Mm-hmm.
insight into that. So we'd be
Mm-hmm.
the logical ones to do that.
Can we focus there for a minute on the extension of your strategy, which also went from forestry to regenerative agriculture, right? And some folks would say, well, that's mission creep. Others would say fantastic use of your own IP. What led you to that, right? To sort of transition from one land use to another as an investment.
Um, the primary reason's probably not what you're going to expect. It's we're a small company, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
investing in forestry. We're kind of niche, and we have employees here, and we have young employees.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I was starting to think, well, they're going to be putting some hemlock into my coffee in the morning or something, right? So I can move up. And I'm like, we had to create some growth without just growing to grow and collect fees and not do what we're doing well. And so I was pushing where we had a lot of conservation groups saying, "Hey, can you take this to ag? Can you do this in ag?" And I said, "Well, yeah, and if we can expand into agriculture, doing our impact strategy, and it's not really creep because we're buying land and growing something on it, right,
Mm-hmm.
to sell.
Mm-hmm.
That will also help us within the company to give a path for growth with the company and whatnot." And that's another thing people forget is that you have to have a company that's viable, even for your investors. They want that. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was very much in large part of this will allow us to grow. But like many things we do, it fit, right? It just fit. We're able to do our impact with it. We're able to bring people on who know how to grow commodity, that type of thing. And it's a real natural movement. So it was kind of as much employee growth, as well
Mm,
as knowing we can really implement our strategy the way we think environmentally and add value to it that way.
mm-hmm,
And it couldn't have worked out better than I could have imagined. It really
mm,
has been. The investors all felt like it was a natural movement. No, none of our investors felt like it was, creep.
mm-hmm,
Um, they all embraced it. Some have invested in it. Some of the timber investors who were only focused on timber said, "Yeah, we'll do
mm-hmm,
ag now,"
mm-hmm,
and it's been great. And we've expanded the company. We brought in new people. We're bringing in young people. We hired our first college grad a few months ago, which kind of a neat thing, right? You're
mm-hmm.
at that stage in the company, and we've got great succession planning with it all. So I guess all of the above.
Yeah.
And we took our time. We're not one to just like, I'm one to basically just go pool hopping and not check to see if there's water in and jump in. But we didn't do that. And as we took our time, we made sure we were doing it right, that
Yep.
we had the right people, and we
Mm-hmm.
brought on some rock stars for it. So
Fantastic. I mean, that's just a great story all around. Really
yeah,
is. Can we change gears here a little bit?
yeah.
Because the reason we got to know each other, of course, was that you engaged us to give you a review
Hmm.
and what we call an impact authenticity score for four of your funds, actually.
Yeah.
Uh, what is it that drives you to think that that's important? That having a third party evaluation really means something.
Oh man, I mean, it's credibility, right? It's credibility. It's on the regenerative practices. We have a hardcore group that does certification out there to say, yeah, they're doing it and they're doing it right. On our impact, like impact metrics are the craziest thing out there. Everyone is still trying to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing it from the beginning, tying what we're doing to our GIS
Mm-hmm.
databases. You can audit
Mm-hmm.
what we do. And then you have the whole movement out there of impact. And like we've been doing it since 2004. So it was, we were doing
Mm.
it before it was cool to do impact.
Yeah.
Now it's really cool, but you get the greenwashing out there. You get
Mm-hmm.
people saying, "Oh, they put out their shiny impact report and you read it and it's very lawyerly." And we just wanted to engage a group like yours to come in and say, no, this is the real deal. This is
Mm-hmm.
like, we worked hard at it. We developed an impact strategy where the environment, all of it is part of the DNA of the strategy since we started back in '04. It wasn't kind of an add-on and, oh wow, everyone's doing it, let's try to get. And so we just wanted someone like you who could come in and say, yeah, they're right on, or who could come in and say, look, this is where you're missing the boat, guys, and we could learn from, right?
Yeah. Well, you guys, it's worth saying, you guys didn't miss many boats. You scored about as high as any fund has scored. You really, and the commitment that you have and the length of time that you've been doing it really shone through.
Mm.
Yeah. So kudos to you and the team.
Yeah, so no, and it's great that we can get a group like yours that is super credible and has that depth and background you guys did. So um,
Thank you.
just fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good partnership.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been fantastic if we failed miserably.
No,
I'd be
no.
saying, oh, Rob and his group are a bunch of quacks. They don't know enough.
that's, that's funny. What do you think is some advice you'd give to either ag or forestry funds that are launching today?
Um, I, I guess you got to do some deals, get out there with your mission, and then go figure out some way, shape, or form to do a deal. Like where we were successful back in '04, where we came out, we were changing the way kind of timberland was done. We were telling people, look, you're overpaying for your timberland relative to those cash flows. We figured out a way to kind of get it back to that risk adjusted.
Mm.
It was a new concept, working cooperatively, kind of trying to reach out and say, hey, look at this property. What would you want to put over it, rather than after the fact, after we managed it
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years. But it was new. So a lot of groups were kind of, we finally bit the bullet and made an investment, took a risk, made an investment, were able to implement it. Thankfully, it worked out really well. And we were able to go back and say, look, a year ago we were here with concept, and here is proof of concept,
Mm.
right? So that I think is a really key thing for anything you're doing, right? Any type of
Sure.
endeavor, business or otherwise. Show that you can do it and you can implement it. I'd also say do not undercut the back office, the business.
Mm.
We had an investor who's still with us today, and he said, look, early on, and they knew I was going to be kind of running and setting up the office as opposed to John, who's going to kind of be doing more of the CEO. And he said, look, Paul, I see great people come in with great ideas, strategies all the time, but they don't know how to run a business. They go out and try to
Yeah.
implement it and they fall. Focus on that too. That's
Mm-hmm.
important. Have
Mm-hmm.
your ducks in a row. Make sure your
Yeah.
accounting's dead on. Make sure your
Mm-hmm.
compliance. All of that stuff is
Mm-hmm.
really,
Mm-hmm.
really important. That
Mm-hmm.
you're meeting all of that. I would say is super important. And then, I mean, back to my statement, and go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you give it a try, and and approach it that way. I mean, you got to worry. I mean, I worry. I act like I don't, but I worry about a lot of stuff. But I always try to just get back to that. Get out there and just kind of do it, but try to keep a level head, keep aware of your own self. That you know, um,
Yeah. I've always found, for me personally, getting out in the woods with my boots on
mhm.
is, no pun intended, very grounding, and sort of reframes everything you're doing during the week, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, being in the space you're in, that's sort of a natural grounding every day.
I mean, again, it's a blast. I was just up with two of the new people we hired. I say this, I feel like I'm a young kid, but I'll say two young kid. They're right out of school and
Sure.
stuff. And I'm like, a few days ago, I said, "Hey, do you guys have plans to get up and see a property yet?" And they're like, "No." I said, "All right, no, I guess we're all driving up to Maine, and we're going to go out
Great.
to a logging site. And we're going to go out and hit, because it is. I mean, what what kid in the planet doesn't love going out and seeing big giant machines? And like
Sure.
and
Sure.
like and
Yeah.
seeing loggers out there harvesting, or going to a farm and being able, an orchard, and being able to pick an apple off the tree
Yeah.
and take a bite out like that. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. And you're meeting cool people, and and just staying grounded to recognize, like,
Yeah.
look, the people up in deep Maine who are foresters, who are living out in the woods and live in a small home, they're as important and as, like, to this whole thing and to the investment as I am. I'm not like that grounding. I always like to have, like,
That's right.
like everyone's part of the machinery, and if the gear breaks,
Yeah.
it's that kind of. So yeah,
Real
I love
people
it.
doing real work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doing real work, doing their work, right? But it's
Yeah.
it's part of the thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, yeah, that grounding's so important. But then the grounding is, sometimes you got to sit down in front of this damn computer, and you've got to
Mm-hmm.
write an investor report, and you might as well stick a fork in your thigh and twist it around and pour some salt in it as one to do that. Or you're on a spreadsheet and you're looking at it and you're right. But you got to do that too, right?
Yeah,
You got to do.
you do.
You just got to focus. You just got to be engaged on everything, and then you got to get
Yeah.
home and have a blast with your family or
Hmm.
whoever you're hanging out with, your friends, you know, all of that.
Yeah,
You you know, um,
you really do.
yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Again, it's like getting back to Maslow's hierarchy. Somewhere in there, I think it's the third or fourth is family and friend. Like so, you do the bottom stuff so you can get to that third. So you can get
Yeah,
to having family and loved ones and your self fulfillment and all of that. Like I
that's
coach
right.
soccer, I love it. It's such a relief for me. Did my daughter when she was younger all the way through, and now I'm doing my son's team. Won the championship in the fall.
Hey,
Lost
congrats.
in the semis in the spring. So
Yeah,
we're doing all right. So you can see up there, this is our championship trophy.
nice.
We treated it like the Stanley Cup. All the kids signed it and they all got to take it home and take pictures.
Fantastic.
I just got it back. It was out for like 4 months. Of course, it
Yeah,
came back with dents and scrapes on it.
yeah, that's all right. They're kids. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah, I always say that the favorite years of my life were coaching my daughter's softball team.
Yeah.
Just fantastic to see your kid participate, to win, and to grow
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
And to develop that team, I'm huge into like here, it's huge. It's team. Team is
Yes,
everything. Like it's get out there, trust your, and with the
yes.
case of my son, trust your brothers. And I make them before games, I make them look at each other. Okay, that's who you're letting down if you're not trusting them.
Mm-hmm.
And develop,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. It's
Yeah,
like,
that is.
it's fun. So yeah, that is, um, it's good. Like if you get in the sense, for me, like culture is important because all of that hokey stuff is important. Um, Doing a good job in trying things, right? I always say this to people, and some people get tense with me, some people in our own firm, but I'll tell investors, look, I'm betting with your money, right? And it's my job to increase the odds at the
That's
table.
right.
That's it. So I'm going to do everything possible to increase
Mm-hmm.
those odds for you. So the
Yes,
regenerative practices, I'm increasing the odds as things change going forward in the environment, right? That's my goal with this. I'm increasing the odds by buying this property, less efficient market, but at a lower price. All of that is, I'm viewing it at how do I increase? Because you can never guarantee that you're going to hit, right? You can
that's
never
right.
do that.
That's
So,
right.
so that's an important part. And if you can get people thinking that way, and I always tell investors, you can call anyone in the company. You can pick up the phone, and I always give them a list of anyone in the company. It doesn't have to be me. You're not going to get assigned because they need to know that they can reach out to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
That's
can
right.
try, and that the story is going to be somewhat the same. It
Mm-hmm.
might be not told with as much flair as I do, but um,
And that is such an important sign for an LP, to know that you trust your team, and to know that the team is consistent across everything that you do. Basically says nobody's hiding anything,
yeah,
right?
yep,
And we're all on the same page.
yep. And I was
Yeah.
talking to my CFO yesterday, and we were talking about some of the new people, the new accounts. I said, look, we've got to introduce them to the kind of the idea of who's investing with us. Like we have some people who have a lot of money who have done some pretty neat things, and they know they're in this 20-person firm. Are you kidding me? That family invested with us and
Mm,
they own this?
mm,
Like
yeah.
there's a cool connection there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I always get that connection of like the pension funds. And I always do this when I'm doing a presentation with conservation and they have, well, we're doing God's work. You guys are trying to make the money. And I said, oh no. And I have a picture of a firefighter and a
Yeah.
fire, and I have a picture of a teacher, and they're always like, oh, he got it. Because I'm like, no, that's who we're investing
Yeah,
for. That's why we have to make some money, right?
that's right.
But it's just breaking it down to simple things like that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Everyone out there gets the simple, right? And
yeah. Keep it simple.
keep it simple, yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Um,
So, Paul, you've been in this world of impact investing, as we just discussed, for longer than it even was called impact investing. So, as you look ahead,
Thanks for pointing that out, dude.
yeah, you and me both. As as you look ahead, what do you think you'd like to see, both for the impact investing community and people who are entering your specific field?
Um, I guess I'd like to see just in the impact world, I'd like to see more funding coming into it from just the institutionals of the world, the investors. But I think just a genuineness to it. It's like, we're doing impact, but not overstating that we're doing it for like these incredibly, like, I always get the feeling that we're at these conferences, you're like you view everyone else as kind of not doing good stuff. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, we're just doing our part. We want to get it where you can kind of have the financial systems, the private markets, figure out how to
Mm-hmm.
solve the world's environmental or social
Mm-hmm.
things. I think that's where my hope would be for impact, that we can get there. We can get less reliance on government to do
Mm-hmm.
it, because there's not enough government funding. And, my partner would always say that. He goes, look, there's not enough government funding to do what you need to do on the environmental side, and governments change needs all the time, whether it's pensions
Mm-hmm.
or any or more heinous things like war. And so you've got to get that financial focus in there. So I guess that would be my hope, if you were asking for the future, is that we can get to a point where impact investing is giving a good return and solving a lot of these issues, social or environmental, out there. Um,
Amen to
doing it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And Paul, if investors want to know more about conservation resources, what's the best way to find you?
They can go out to the they can go out to our website, uh, www.conservationresources.net. I've got a
Is it
guy.
.net? That's actually important.
.net. Yes, we're .net. There's another group out there that does like microfiche for libraries. That's .com. So,
Hmm.
um, and we've been .net since the beginning. Yeah, that they can reach out to me, certainly. I'm always willing, if they want to sit and talk for 5 hours. No, if you call me, you're going to get that. Um, but you'll have, you know, my email is pyoung@conservationresources.net. Then we've got a guy, Hank Lawler, who is awesome. Well, he's kind of awesome. He calls you up on a day and sets you up, asks you what type of coffee you like, but then when you show up the next day, he doesn't have a coffee with him. And,
Uh-oh.
he's sitting within earshot, so he knows but he, H. Lawler, Lawlor, at conservationresources.net. Hank can, he's great. He's like our client and meeting new people person. And reach out to him, and
Super. Thank
yeah,
you.
reach out and call. We'll put you
Hopefully
on a
people will,
Zoom. It's
and I'm sure they will.
yeah.
So, Paul, can we pivot here again?
Yeah.
I always like to close out with a speed round.
Oh, okay.
So these are questions you haven't seen before.
All right.
None of them are trick questions. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
No gotchas. Uh, so so first question: favorite food you would eat in a restaurant that you would never cook at home?
Um, uh, Lobster. I mean, I occasionally cook it at home, but it's It's messy. So
Yeah, but the messy is the fun part.
yeah, yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I would only eat it at home
Oh, okay, yeah,
because I like the messy.
yeah. All right, good. Yeah, no.
So, what is the food that you do cook at home?
Oh man, when I cook, I love grilling. I mean, I just
Mm,
love it. I love
yeah.
I I love burgers. I love I make a great American chop suey that I like. Like some of my kids don't like onions, so they always foil me. It's kind of a key ingredient.
Yeah.
Um, I love that. And when I go out though, I'm not a fancy restaurant. You, you'll be shocked, but type. I just more like kind of like bar food, like,
Mm,
um, is my preference. I mean, I certainly fine if someone wants to take me out to a
mm,
fancy, but I just love going out, having a burger and a beer and kind of
mm.
hanging. Yeah.
Favorite legal seafoods to go to?
Very well. I think one of the only ones I know is the one down in Boston.
Yeah, in Kenmore Square.
Yeah,
There's one there.
right. In Kenmore Square? Okay, no, no, this
That's the original.
the
And
original.
then
Okay.
there's the one in the
Down on
what is
like the
it?
waterfront, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one
that.
I've been to. Yeah.
So, favorite musician?
Favorite musician? Oh, I'd probably, so this is a really tough one. Um, I'd probably have to say Jimmy Page, probably when it's
Mm,
all said and done.
mm,
But I love them all. Like I play guitar my whole life.
mm,
I still play it, and I have a blast. But yeah, I'd probably say musician Jimmy
mm-hmm.
Page. I love them all. I love Chuck Berry. Oh, you
Yeah.
know,
Clapton?
funny you mentioned Clapton. I'm not a big fan of Clapton.
Really? I
He's
mean,
not.
it is a different style, but why
It's
not?
it's a di- I it's just not, I guess, gritty enough. It's a
Mm,
little too polished. Just yeah, he's not one of the blues guys that
mm.
I love a lot. Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Yeah,
God,
there you go.
it's like a
Yeah,
god.
there
And
you
I
go.
mean, of course, Hendrix, right?
Yeah.
But those two are otherworldly. But then I'm a big hair band guy. Right now,
Yeah.
I've been listening a lot, and I just figured out a few Poison songs. So,
Did you?
oh yeah. So I saw Motley Crue a couple of years ago at the casino here, and in
Jeez, that
my
must have been a show.
oh,
What are those
fantastic.
guys? 75 now?
Yeah,
80?
they're like our age, and there's all
Yeah.
our people my age and people's wives, all our age, acting like
Yeah.
we're 20 again or 18. Um, but yeah,
Buddy Guy?
what's that?
Buddy Guy?
Buddy Guy. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Love, love, love the old blues guys.
Mm,
I love the grunge stuff. I love,
mm,
someone asked me my favorite album yet, and it was Alice in Chains. Just
mm.
there, it's
Yeah.
like I think the best album ever. So I delve into that, and then I delve into the '50s. Right now, my youngest son, who's a trip, he's into all the '50s music. Uh,
Nice.
so he's listening to the Del Reys the other day and singing it in the house, and I'm like, all right. So
Good for
you
that.
know, love that. Yeah, I love it all. I'm
Yeah.
not. There's not many genres of music I can't listen to. Like I'm more of if I'm gonna listen to rap, more of a '90s guy than I
Yeah.
am the newer voice synth stuff and
Yeah.
some of the pop stuff today. Like the music
Remember the
today.
Sugar Hill Gang?
What's that?
You remember the Sugar Hill Gang?
Yes. Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
I suppose that's 80s even.
That's 80. I think I've got them on
Yeah.
one of my things. My
I'd go back to Rick James,
Rick James. Yep.
right? He
Yeah.
was a pretty good guitarist too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the band. I like the Bee Gees. I think are cool.
Sure. He
Like,
just died,
yeah, yep,
Brian.
Yeah. So, well, no, that was the Beach Boys, right?
Oh yeah, of course, the
Yeah,
Beach
no, I
Boys.
was
Yeah, yeah,
saying the
Brian
Bee
Wilson.
Gees. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah, yeah,
love the Beach Boys too. Who doesn't
yeah,
with their like good vibrations, right?
yeah,
Good, no, good. You got to listen to that. But yeah, I'd say all that. So it's a hard one for me to answer because
yeah,
I'll walk away, I'll start listening to the music, and I'll say, shit. I mean, damn, I should have said this guy. And
yeah.
because
I'm with you. It depends on your mood too.
yeah,
You know,
it
I mean,
does.
like I could dig Tracy Chapman too.
Yeah, I
You
love,
know,
love. One of my favorite songs is that Fast Car song, and I'm a
sure.
big shoegaze guy. Sometimes I get into the shoegaze thing. So, um, you're listening to that crazy stuff. So it's all,
It's
the
all good
British
stuff.
pop from the '80s. The
Yeah,
I'm a big Sex Pistols fan. Um,
yeah.
you know,
And then you could get into ska music,
yeah,
the Specials,
the Specials.
right?
Yeah,
You remember that?
yep, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love that stuff.
And so I was walking out of City Hall a few weeks ago, and this guy came in. He had long white hair, and he had an AC/DC shirt. And I said, my brother took me to AC/DC in '78. I was
Hmm.
11 years old, and it was
Wow.
still when Bon Scott was singing. And the guy almost
Wow.
fell over. You're kidding me.
Wow.
So if you were asking me the greatest rock personality
Yeah.
in history, it's Bon Scott with
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah. I buy that.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
like
Was that the first concert you ever went to live?
no. The first I ever went
No.
to live was Neil Young, and
Wow.
my older brother, took me to Neil Young, and I was a big
Wow.
Neil Young fan too, going
Yeah.
through, especially his acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
When he got into his crazy Tron years and the Blue Notes,
Hmm.
I was kind of like, eh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I loved all that, the Russ stuff.
Yeah.
But
My
yeah, I used
first
to go
was
with my
the
brothers
Boston
when I was
Garden.
younger.
I saw
What?
Gene Simmons at the Boston Garden
Yep, I saw Kiss there too. Yeah,
alive.
absolutely.
That was
Another
fun, man.
fantastic band
Yeah.
that people don't give credit for. Big Bob Seger fan.
Yeah. That's always fun stuff.
Um, love his stuff. Yeah, I mean, you name it. We go on all
Yeah.
day. I love, 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 love music. I love John Denver. I love.
I'm
Uh,
with you.
yeah,
I'm with you. 100%.
fantastic. I mean,
Yes.
just you can't sit and listen to some John Denver songs and not feel happy afterwards.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Or
if
moved.
I always say, if you're feeling down, two things to do: listen to John Denver or watch It's a Wonderful Life, and by the end of it, you'll be like smiling and
Yeah, but that man, that to get there, I agree with you. But to get there, that is one depressing
oh,
movie.
it's tough.
you know, you got.
George, where's Mary? Where's Mary? George, you can't.
yeah,
It's like, but it is. But by the end of it, if you're depressed at the beginning, by the end of it, you're smiling and you're.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's right.
so
That's right.
that's a big one. I always say. I always make the kids watch it, and they're like you. It's tough. It's a long movie too, and it's
Yeah,
tough to get through.
that's right. And
Uh,
when they're young, they just want to go to bed and wake up to get their presents.
yeah, exactly, exactly, and it's tough. But I mean, just think of the concept. It's fantastic. My brother saved all the men on that ship. All the men on that ship died, George. Your
yeah,
brother was. You weren't there to save your brother, and your brother
that's
died.
right.
Like, I mean, it gives you chills.
That's right. That's right. You weren't there.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
house
such
is
a
all broken down.
yep, great concept, and so I
Yes.
love that. So, all
Yeah.
right, what else you got?
Last question.
Yeah,
Favorite sports team?
favorite sports team?
Yeah.
I'd have to say Barcelona, FC Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah, they're in the world. That's my favorite sports team by leaps and bounds.
What gets
Uh,
you there?
what's that?
What gets you there?
I love I love soccer. I love it, and I love their style of play. Their style, again, it gets back to simple. We were talking here. I try to
Mm,
break. I always tell people here, look, if you can't describe it to me in terms I understand, it means you don't understand. And what Einstein
mm,
said, if you can't explain something in 5 minutes, you really don't know it.
yeah.
And their style of soccer is simple, right? So they teach nothing but the fundamentals in passing. Their drills are simple. They're and they produce some of the greatest soccer teams in
Hmm.
history till
Hmm.
today. And they do it just by just get the easy stuff right. The
Yeah,
rest of it will take care of itself. And
that's right. And that is a great lesson for an investor, right?
yeah,
Because ultimately you've got to execute.
hmm
And like you were saying before, if you don't have the fundamentals down, if you don't have your back office down, if you don't have the right team, and everybody's not doing the same thing the same way, you're not going to make it.
yeah, exactly. And it's right. It's right. They do it by team. They pass better than any team on the planet. They play as a
Hmm.
team better than any team.
Yeah.
It's just it. So I love it. I love watching their stuff. I was devastated when they lost in the semis to Italy on Milan on for the Euro. But they're great. That's it. How about you?
Love it.
What's yours?
Oh, I would spend every summer night I could at Fenway Park.
Oh, would you?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Ah,
no doubt. No
nice.
doubt. Yeah.
And
Which
they
is a
just,
challenge for a guy who lives in New York, but I figured it out.
I know, man. I remember the day. I remember I raced through my paper route to watch that one game playoff with Bucky Dent
Oh
and
yeah.
Yaz back in, when
Yes.
was that? 78 or 70?
74. Was it? Might have been 8. Yeah, that's
It
right.
was, yeah, one game playoff. And to
Yeah.
get, and those games where there was, which I miss these days. I know I'm going to sound like a barbarian, but I miss the days when there were brawls between the Yankees and the Red Sox
Yeah.
at almost every game. And
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that was, man, that was some fierce rivalry.
it was. And now I just think money got into it so much. It's not. The same thing with hockey. I feel like part of the anger and angst in the planet today is they don't allow as much fighting in hockey as they used to.
Nobody's got a release valve.
It was like the old Roman Colosseum, right?
Yeah.
You go to a hockey game to see a boxing match, and occasionally
Yep.
hockey would, come through.
That's funny, man. That I
Uh,
remember that.
but if you
I
ask me my
remember.
favorite playoff sport, it's either soccer, but I'd put hockey in front of that. NHL.
Mm,
There's nothing better than
mm,
NHL playoffs. Just no
mm.
sport matches it. Um,
Why do you say that?
it's just you can see the heart and soul at every
Mm,
single second
yeah.
of that game. The
Mm,
like it just and it just doesn't stop. It's not like some other sports where you stop and go and stop.
right.
And even soccer, when you get into these big games, which are great, there's still the typical soccer in the middle where you're watching some passing for 10,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but hockey
That's
is,
awesome.
yeah, it's fantastic. So, and I was heartbroken and happy as hell to see Marchand win it after the Bruins
Mm,
traded him like
hmm.
jackasses. But
Yeah. Well, Boston's not doing itself any favors from any front office these
the Red
days.
Sox,
Yeah.
like they're comparing that to Babe Ruth,
Yeah.
which is
I
true.
don't know about that.
I mean,
I
just
think I
joking.
think he was bad for the clubhouse. I think if you read between the lines, it just
Yeah,
had gone it had gone sour,
yeah,
you know. And sometimes you just got to go.
yeah. No, that's right. That's
You
right.
got to make the tough decision. All right, Paul. Well, this has been a real treat. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I don't do many
Yep.
of these, as you can tell. Not people don't invite me back because I go on too
No,
long.
that's
So,
not at all. And tell Hank I said hi.
all right, I will for
All right.
sure.
Take
All right,
care,
well,
guys.
thanks. Thank you very much,
Yep.
Rob, and everyone
All
else
right.
behind the
Be well.
scenes.